Hi guys, how we going? Hello, Team Elvis. I'm late. I'm always late. So I wasn't sure if I was going to come on tonight. Obviously you guys know that I'm tired. The reason I'm always tired at night is because I wake up around 5 or 6 a.m. So by the time we get to now, I've been awake for 27 hours or something. How is everyone? Hi, Linda. So, it's going to be a little bit serious, live stream. Let me just have a bit of water. So let me tell you what I had. Just quickly see, I'll tell you what I had for dinner. Right, so it was Deborah and Linda and Carolyn and Lorna, Stacey and Tony, and Debbie. Have I missed any names? Let's have a look. Obviously, there'll be more watching, guys. So we've only just started. Now, it's been an interesting day, hasn't it, guys? I had T-bone steak for dinner. Do you know what T-bone steak is? I put a picture of it on the messenger. I had some salad and I had a tangerine. Oh yeah, and a bit of chicken. So I've had loads. So I'm keto at the moment. Hi Lisa. Yes, finally able to catch a live. Hi Lisa. So we've had an interesting day. I'm not really sure where to start with this live. I know what my topic is. My topic today is, are you a true fan? Are you a true fan? So are you a true Elvis fan? One of the most common things said to me, are you a true fan? You're not a true fan. If you're a true fan, you would do this. If you're a true fan, you would do this. Now what, yeah, T-bone steak. It was lovely, Linda. Thank you. My dad always used, when I was a kid, my dad always took me for T-bone steak on my birthday. When I was a little kid, that's one of my fond memories of my father. But we had a complicated friendship. But that is probably my standout, because every year he always took me for a T-bone steak on my birthday. With my twin brother, of course. I'm a twin, you know I'm a twin. So right, guys. Right, listen. Don't think I'm disrespecting you. I know you're all true fans. I know every one of you here are true fans. But it is the most asked question. It's the most asked question, but not just that. It's the biggest thing that is used as an insult. It is the biggest thing that is used as an insult. You're not a true fan. Now, we had an instance, for example, how can I say it? Yeah, the recent thing with Anne Margaret, because I wouldn't do an Anne Margaret thing, I'm not a true fan, because Anne Margaret has always defended Elvis. So because I didn't post a video about her like that, I'm not a true fan. So that, let me give you another example. I did a song reaction, and because I'd said in the song reaction that I'd never heard the song before, I'm not a true fan. And so the topic of our live stream is, why do Elvis fans feel the need to insult other Elvis fans by telling them they're not true fans? It's like, it's quite childlike. It's almost like, I'm a better fan than you. I'm a better fan than you. Yeah, I've been a longer fan than you. Now, I've been a fan for over 50 years, but I don't care if you've been a fan for 1 year or 20 years or 60 years. I know when you're a true fan. I know. I can tell. Guys, can you guys tell? Can you guys tell when someone is a true fan? Do you mind me asking you If I say to you, what is a true fan? What would you say? Seriously, I'm going somewhere with this because I've got something to read to you. I've got a comment to read to you. Okay, guys. Actually, I'll just tell Chris we're live. Let me just tell Chris we're live. We're live. Now, I've got a reason that I'm saying this, guys. All of us here are true fans. We know that. We know that, okay? Yeah, Linda, you've been a fan for 48 years and you don't know every song, nor do I. I don't think I even know half the songs, maybe less. I may only know 25% of the songs. There's a lot of quite rare songs that many of us will have never heard of. Now, I know I'm a true fan. I know you guys are true fans. Hi, Dan. So, Linda, someone who wants to protect Elvis' image and reputation from all the lies. Yeah? You love the man who he is as well and the music. Thank you, Debbie. Do you know what? It's a hard question to answer. Dan has just joined us. Dan, what is a true Elvis fan? I'm going somewhere with this because I'm going to read something to you. Right, let me just quickly check your comments. Right, okay. Anyone that's watching now, what is a true Elvis fan? Anyone that's watching now, do you think I'm a true Elvis fan? I'm going to get you thinking. Now, I have an opinion what a true Elvis fan is. Deborah is a fan for 61 years. I don't class someone, to me, how can I say it? Someone can be a fan for 60 years or for 2 years and still be a true fan. Yeah? It's not the length of time that makes me, the fact that I became a fan when I was 4, 53 years ago, isn't why I'm a true fan. Now, I know that we're all true fans. I know I'm a true fan. Tony, I love Elvis. He saved my life. Now, Tony is a great example. He brought me God. Now, Tony, that is a beautiful answer. That is a beautiful answer. And Tony has probably been a fan for how long? 30 years? Dan, a true friend is there for you in good times and bad times. That's a good answer, Dan. I like that. But a true fan we're talking about. A true fan, yeah? But that actually does relate to Elvis, doesn't it? Because we feel a connection to Elvis. When we discovered Elvis, all of us, whether it was in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, doesn't matter when the connection gets you, and we don't all get it, do we? We don't all get it. When the connection gets you here, you are transformed. Something in you changes. The true fans have got this connection. That is a true fan. And you can this is just my opinion, you can become a true fan in an hour. I remember when I first discovered Elvis, I listened to that song, I Just Can't Help Believing, was my first song I listened to. I Just Can't Help Believing. Something in me changed. Something changed. I was never the same again. And that feeling I got has stayed with me my whole life. But it only took me a matter of hours to be transformed, to be altered, to be exchanged from the old Louis to the new Louis. The old Louis hadn't discovered Elvis. The new Louis had discovered Elvis. When I became the new Louis that loved Elvis, that felt a connection to Elvis's spirit, his soul, his music, his personality, the looking in his eyes, his charm, his smile. Once I had that, I was never the same again. I would say every single one of you here, remember when that happened to them. Remember when something in them changed, and because of it, you've been lifelong fans. Even if it's only been a few years, even if it's been 10 years, 15 years, 50 years, 60 years. So to me, a true fan is someone who has been so deeply affected by Elvis from the first time they discovered him, and it has stayed with them their whole lives, whether it be 5 years or 10 years, because some people discovered Elvis later in life. Like Carolyn is a great example. I don't think she's here. Actually, I'll email Carolyn, tell her we're live. Yeah. Some people discovered Elvis later in life, like Carolyn discovered Elvis off the Baz Luhrmann film. Only not that old, is it? Not that long ago. But Carolyn is a true Elvis fan. She's only been a fan 3-4 years. She is a true fan because once she discovered Elvis, something changed here. That, in my mind, is a true fan. I'm going to read your comments. I'm going to read you something as well, guys. There's a reason I'm saying what I'm saying. So let me just quickly tell Salvatore that we're live. So I hope Salvatore is fine. Let me also tell Carolyn that we're live. Right, so now let me just keep going with it, guys. I know what I'm doing here. Let me just quickly read some of your comments because I know that this is quite an important question. I think this question, are you a true fan? And then the fact that Elvis fans that think they're true fans insult other Elvis fans. I know more than you. I've been a fan longer than you. Yeah? You shouldn't be a fan because you didn't do this. You're not a true fan because you didn't do this. I hear it all the time. The Priscilla fans will say that they are true Elvis fans because they've fallen for the fairy tale. So the non-Priscilla fan will be like, why do you like Priscilla? You're not defending Elvis. You're not a fan. You see how it goes? It's an endless thing of I'm better than you. I'm better than you. Now, today is an example, right? Let me just read a couple of comments. Yeah, Linda, someone who wants to protect Elvis's image and reputation. Now, if we have the passion in us to defend Elvis, we're true fans. Anyone that joins a channel that is called Defending Elvis, you are a true fan. Now, if you join a channel called Defending Elvis, but secretly you don't want to defend Elvis, you just like the channel. The channel's interesting. The presenter is interesting. You haven't joined the channel for the right reason. If you've only joined the channel because it's a bit fun, Team Elvis are fun, Louis is fun, you joined for the wrong reasons. We join because we want to defend Elvis. That is why we join. If you want to defend Elvis, you're a true fan. Trust me, because it takes grit and determination to defend Elvis, because not everyone wants to defend Elvis. We get a very big backlash. Today was one of our most successful days. We managed to get an Elvis YouTube channel to delete 3 videos, yeah, that insulted Elvis. So today was a good day for us. Would you agree that today we had a good day? Today we had a good day. We managed to get a YouTube channel to delete 3 videos that insulted him. I'm not going to mention any Elvis channels. I'm just saying. Linda, you say that, but many people do. Linda, you say, no one will ever tell me I'm not a true fan, but many people do. If you read the comments, you'll be surprised. Other Elvis fans tell us that we're not Elvis fans. And I'm going to read something to you in a minute, but not yet. So, where am I going with this? Let me explain it to you. today was a very successful day. Do you guys know that we had a very good day today? We did some good defending together with Team Elvis. We managed to get an Elvis YouTube channel to delete 3 videos that were cruel to Elvis. So we had a good day today, guys. Does anyone, I just want someone to confirm that to me. Do you guys see that we did good today? We have the Geraldo video deleted because it says disgusting things about Elvis. Yeah? Yes, right, okay, so Deborah gets it. We had a great day, but today we lost 10 subscribers. Today we lost 10 subscribers, okay? But our views increased. Guys, today on one of our best days for success, for defending Elvis, we lost 10 subscribers. Let me show you. But our views have shot up. Let me show you. Let's see if I can show you on here. Now, I'm not moaning, because I've always said to you, I'm not moaning. I've always said to you, I don't care about subscribers, likes. I'm not here for that. Our views went up. Our views went up. So we've had a brilliant day. We've had a lot of success. We've done some good defending today, but we lost 10 subscribers. Doesn't that tell you something? We get a backlash. We get a backlash. There are many Elvis, so-called Elvis fans that are not happy with what we do. We've befriended Billy Stanley. We love Billy Stanley. We read his book. We read Billy's book. Billy's book is beautiful. It defends Elvis. It is a beautiful book. Well, I think if it could even be the best book. Every time I read it, we lose 2 or 3 subscribers. Every time I read it, we lose 2 or 3 subscribers. Every time. I know when I read this book, I'm going to lose some subscribers. This is a beautiful book. Billy Stanley is one of the best Elvis defenders ever. You look through his video collection of interviews. You read this book. Billy Stanley is a beautiful Elvis defender. When I say beautiful, I mean he really does a great job of it. But every time I read it, we lose subscribers. So let me just show you so you know I'm not lying. Today, guys, let's have a look. So today we had a very good day for defending. I'm going to take a picture of it. Guys, look at this. Minus 10 subscribers. Minus 10 subscribers. On a day when we did really well, where we really defended. Now don't worry about it, guys, because my views have shot up. I'm getting a lot of views. Our videos are getting loads of views. The views are great. Yeah? So it tells you something, that there are a lot of Elvis fans that don't think Elvis should be defended. There are a lot of Elvis fans that will say to you, come on, Elvis had faults. You know what he was like. He was an addict. He killed himself on drugs. He binged ate. He was a serial adulterer. That's just the way he was. We have to accept it, accept his faults. But we loved his music. We loved his music. Okay, guys? So, this is our dilemma, guys. This is our dilemma. That we have the fans that know the true Elvis, that know he was a good, decent man, that know that he was seriously wronged by Priscilla, by some of the Memphis Mafia. We know that There's fans that know that Priscilla was unfaithful and was a big part of why Elvis and Priscilla split up. Not just because of Elvis, because of both of them. They both were responsible for breaking up. I personally think Priscilla was more responsible. And I'll tell you why. Because of the unfaithfulness just after Lisa Marie was born. So Linda, it's a funny one. Because I do think that these people are fans. I do think the people that don't want us to defend, that backlash, that are not happy with how we defend, are Elvis fans. But they've got a warped version of Elvis. They've got a version of Elvis that is, yeah, he was good looking and beautiful, had a beautiful voice. He looked great. They've fallen in love with that. But they then say, but he was a drug addict. He killed himself. He ruined his own life. He was an adulterer to Priscilla. So their version is, yes, Elvis was amazing, but he also effed up his life. He also was a serial adulterer. So it's his fault. Elvis fans will say, some Elvis fans will say, well, it's his fault. He took drugs. He was a drug addict. You get it, guys? Now, in a minute, I'm going to read you the comment. And I'm going to read, this is a comment from an Elvis fan. This person that sent me this comment, called Bobby, I've got nothing against him. I think he really is an Elvis fan. But this comment that was sent to me is why I'm doing a live tonight. I wasn't going to do a live tonight. That comment was sent to me. Now, when you first read the comment, you do think, oh yeah, you know, Elvis fan, speaking well of Elvis. But then when you double read it, all the way through the comment, this person, Bobby, who is an Elvis fan, is insulting Elvis constantly, blaming everything on Elvis, no blame on Priscilla, no mention of the fact that Elvis was chronically sick. And I'm going to read you the comment in a second. Let me just read some of your comments. Now, guys, I want you to know, I know that you guys are genuine fans. I know it, because you're part of defending Elvis Presley. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to. If you weren't genuine fans, you wouldn't be part of a channel that's called Defending Elvis. Yeah? The ones that are not genuine defenders will fall away. The ones that are not genuine defenders will fall away. Yeah? The Priscilla fans won't last here. The fans that support things that happened to Elvis that were unfair will fall away. Okay, guys? Now, I'm going to just read some of your comments, then I'm going to read that comment out, and you're going to completely understand what I'm saying. We have an uphill battle defending Elvis. It's not going to be easy. And you'll be surprised that I say this, but a big part of the problem we have in defending Elvis is Elvis fans. Because we have certain types of fans that still blame all the things that went wrong on Elvis, but worship and admire his music, his movies, his personality, the way he looked. But they don't believe that Elvis was truly a good man. They think deep down Elvis was a drug addict, killed himself by over-prescribing medication, by self-prescribing, was shagging every woman he could get hold of. It doesn't matter how young she was. Some fans feel that way. And when I read that comment, you're going to understand. Right, so I might just go backwards. Now, this is a serious live stream, guys. Right, let me just sort my sorry, my son's messaging me. He wants to buy a new bed. Okay, right, right. my son's trying to buy a new bed. Okay, I'm going to say to him now, I'm live. Funny. Sorry. Sidetracked by my son. Hi, Carolyn. Louis, best doing all these lives. Such positive words always for our Elvis. Oh, yes. But I'm actually being quite negative. But my end result will be positive. I know I'm sounding quite down, but I'm not down. I'm not down because that message that I just received from Bobby, helps me defend. It helps me defend. And when I read it, you're going to understand. Let me just go back some of your comments, guys. So, how many have we got on, guys? It's not telling me on here. How many of you are there? Clayton, Louis, you have taught me to speak my mind no matter what others think. Yes, Clayton, I love that. Thank you, Clayton. I really think we've learned that, haven't we? We've learned to disagree, even with Elvis fans, even with Priscilla fans. We've learned. We have our truth that we've got through our research. Do you know what? Linda says, I don't understand the haters. I don't even know if it's haters. I just think they're not happy that we don't agree with them. I think the biggest problem we've had on this channel is that we don't agree with people. We won't do as we're told. That's always been our problem. Every person we've fallen out with is because we didn't do as we were told. We didn't agree with them. It's never been because we were rude. It's always been that. Right, so let me just go back on these comments. Let's have a look. Yep, we definitely do have, Nicola, we definitely do have a lovely Elvis family. But we are, being an Elvis defender is not dull. We do not have dull days. We have a very exciting Team Elvis is, I speak for myself with Team Elvis. We have a very exciting time here. We never have a dull day. It's never boring on Team Elvis. The reason it's never boring is because we get a backlash. We get picked on. Right. So Dan, I've been a fan since about 8 years old. In the 60s, true fans take anything negative on Elvis personally. Same as I would a brother. Yeah, we are very protective. We are very defensive, aren't we, guys? I am. If I start chatting with someone and they start saying negative things about Elvis, I want to defend him. I'm like, no, you don't know all the facts. No, that ain't right. Do you know about Priscilla? Do you know about this? Do you know about that? I'm very defensive. I think we're all like that. Right. So I think I'm going to read the comment now, guys. Now, the person who sent me the comment is called Bobby. I've got nothing against Bobby. I truly believe that Bobby is a true fan, but Bobby is brainwashed. Bobby is brainwashed. So let me read this to you. Okay, guys? I need a drink. It's quite a long comment. I'm not. Oh, Joanne's on. Hi, Joanne. Do you know we're live? Joanne, do you know we're live? Let me just tell Joanne that we're live. And hi, Clara. Hi, Lucy. Clara and Lucy. Hi. Right. Let's find the comment, guys. Let's do it. I've done enough waffling talking about who's a true fan and who's not a true fan. Now, this was sent to me today by Bobby Hunt. Bobby, I'm not insulting you, but you are blinkered. You are blinkered. Now, when I read this comment to you guys, now, Bobby, I think you're a true fan. I think you believe every word you said to me. I'm very disappointed because I think there are millions of people, well, not millions, but I think there are thousands of people that think this way. Thousands. Okay, guys? That they have been slowly brainwashed and manipulated and spoon-fed lies, that they have got a warped opinion of Elvis. I just want to get a book. I'm looking for a book. Where is it? This book. This book. Yeah? Now, I am completely against this book. This book is a complete betrayal of Elvis. Elvis's 3 friends stitched him up for money. No other reason. For money. They did not have to write this book. They can make any excuse they want. They wrote this book for money. They stitched up their best mate. Anyone that defends this book has got a warped version of reality, don't understand the truth of what really went on. So, right, let me read this message. Now, this is what I think about Elvis fans that are blinkered and then they haven't opened their eyes. There is no, right, are we ready, guys? I'm going to read it now. Now, you might initially think, oh, that's a good comment. But as I explain it to you, you'll understand exactly why we are called defending Elvis. Yeah? I'm not doing this to insult anyone. I'm doing this to defend Elvis. Okay? No other reason. Yeah? There is no bigger fan of Elvis than me. Actually, I just want to... Guys, do you know how many we've got on? Because it's not telling me on here. Let me see if I can log that bit in. Refresh. Okay. 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 Let's just get this right. I'm just trying to sort things out. Right, are you all getting me okay to read this? Are you all hearing me okay to read this out to you? It's a little bit long. Just let me know you can all hear me good. Oh, thanks, guys. To the 27 people watching, you're welcome to join in. Right, yes, brace yourselves. Oh, well then, guys. Right, okay. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. Right. Bobby Hunt. There is no bigger fan of Elvis than me. Oh, that's good. Thank you, Lorna. That said, would we... Right, let's have a look. That said, we do Elvis a disservice if we make him out to be a god. We do Elvis a disservice if we make him out to be a god. Now, one thing I have always said here is that we don't whitewash Elvis. We don't whitewash him. We know he made mistakes. We know sometimes he was unfaithful. We know that he was a human being. Ha! No, be all right, Linda. Don't worry, guys. Let me keep going. Are you ready? That said, we do Elvis a disservice if we make him out to be a god. He was a human. Now remember, already I know what's coming. I'll say that bit again. We already know what's coming. This is an Elvis fan. Right, there is no bigger Elvis fan than me. Well, that is a very big thing to claim. It's a big thing to say that I am the biggest Elvis fan. This person has just said, there is no bigger fan than me. That said, we do Elvis a disservice. Now remember, this person has just said There is no bigger fan than him. He's now going to go on. You tell me if this person is the biggest fan when I start reading what he says. Now, I've always said Elvis is a real man. He makes mistakes, and he definitely made mistakes with Priscilla and with girlfriends and with the Memphis Mafia. He was no angel. He was a very decent man. He did his best, but he did make mistakes. Elvis had the biggest heart. He helped people like the Memphis Mafia and his girlfriends and his friends and his work people and the general public, complete strangers. Elvis helped people more than anyone I have ever known. Ever. Yes, he did make mistakes. He was a human. Right. That said, we do Elvis a disservice if we make him out to be a god. Now, we have never made Elvis out to be a god. Remember, this is aimed at me. Us. Yeah? He was a human with many flaws. However, the Memphis Mafia told the truth about Elvis. Guys, this is an Elvis fan. The Memphis Mafia told the truth about Elvis. They all say he was addicted to prescription drugs. I don't like to admit it, but if we are going to be Elvis fans, then we need to accept Elvis as Elvis with his flaws. Now remember, yes, I definitely know, I 100% think in the last 3-4 years of Elvis's life, he was addicted to prescribed medication, certain ones. Yeah, definitely. We all are. Come on. How many of you here that have been given prescribed drugs by your doctor, whether they be anxiety pills, antidepressant pills, whether they be steroids, whether they be for blood pressure, for blood sugar, whether it's diabetes, whether, related, whether it's heart related. How many of us are addicted to our prescribed medication, to our antidepressants, to our medication? Come on, guys. We all are. All of us. If you go to your doctor week in, week out, and he prescribes you the same medication and slowly you need a stronger dose, you're addicted. So this guy is saying, the Memphis Mafia told us that Elvis was addicted to his prescription drugs. Yeah, I know. We know that. Elvis was really sick. The last 3 to 4 years of Elvis's life, he was chronically sick. Yeah, he was desperate for medication, anything to ease the pain, to help him sleep, to help him relax, to help him get energy for concerts. We know it's pretty normal to be addicted to your medications. Emily, to alprazolam, Xanax. Tony has said it. Tramadol. Yeah, my mum was addicted to tramadol. Yeah. Tramadol was very strong. Now, it doesn't mean you're a drug addict. It just means you needed help. You turned to your doctor, your nurse, your pharmacist for help. They prescribed whatever the medication is, and you became addicted. It doesn't make you a bad person. Elvis turned to his doctors because he was desperately ill. And yes, there's a high chance he was addicted to a lot of the things that he took. He had a lot of very serious side effects, bloating, his tummy, his face. Of course, it would have caused other problems as well. But he was a sick man who had inherited illnesses from his grandparents, from his mum, from his dad. Elvis became very sick in his late 30s. He'd always been a bit sick, even as a child. But in his 30s, it really ramped up. So when Elvis had this unbearable pains and problems, he turned to his doctors. That's why he had a full-time doctor. That's why he had full-time nurses. And did Elvis, in the last few years, abuse his medication? Almost definitely. Because he was in serious pain. He was desperate. Couldn't sleep. He had a twisted colon. He had serious constipation. Yes, Elvis, the last 2 or 3 years, was very unwell and was taking a large amount of pills to get through the day because he was sick. Did he become addicted? Probably. Does that mean we have to slag him off? Does that mean we have to call him a drug addict? Does that mean we have to blame him for his early death? No. He was a desperately sick man turning to his doctors for help. That's all he was. Let me keep reading, guys. Guys, I remember when I had my gallbladder out. When I had about 8 years ago, I had my gallbladder out. That was the worst pain I've ever had in my life. I was rolling around the floor in unbearable pain for about a week. The pain got so bad that I went to the doctor crying to the doctor, please help me. I was so desperate. Now, in the end, the way I got rid of the pain was they shoved me full of morphine and tramadol. That stopped the pain, then they removed my gallbladder. I would have done anything. To get out of that pain, I would have done anything. It's a bit like very severe toothache. It is so painful that you will do anything to stop the pain. Elvis was in such serious pain that he would take anything to relieve it, to soothe it, to calm it, to relax, to sleep, to have energy to perform. He was doing 2 or 3 shows a day at the end of his life. But to judge Elvis, this is what I'm going to say in a minute, guys. To judge Elvis lived 42 years. To judge Elvis on the last 4 years of his life is so unfair. Yes, the last 3 to 4 years of his life, things got out of control, especially the last 2 years. But that's the last 2 years of his life. What about through his teenage years, through his 20s, through his 30s? Why is Elvis treated as if he was chronically sick and addicted for his whole life? Why is he treated like that? When through his 20s and 30s, he actually looked extremely healthy. Not in his late 30s. It's so unfair. Let me carry on reading this, guys. Now remember, this is a true Elvis fan. This is why I started this live stream by saying, are you a true Elvis fan? This person thinks he's a true Elvis fan. The reason I asked you is because I'm trying to show you guys. Some people think they're true Elvis fans, but they're doing more harm than good. We lost 10 subscribers today because we defended Elvis. It doesn't make sense, does it? We lost 10 subscribers because we defended Elvis. We had a result today. We managed to get a YouTube channel to delete 3 derogatory videos about Elvis. We lost 10 subscribers. We read Billy's book, which is a beautiful book that defends Elvis, that shows Elvis's, that shows Elvis as a beautiful man. Yeah. It shows Elvis as a beautiful man. Yeah. But every time we read Billy's book, we lose subscribers. Do you get where I'm going, guys? There is a backlash of Elvis fans. Right, let me keep going. I don't like to admit it, but we are gonna be Elvis fans. Right, here we go. Right, this is important. Let's really listen to this, guys. I don't like to admit it, but if we are gonna be Elvis fans, then we need to accept Elvis as he was, flaws and all, and still love him. I repeat, this is crucial. This is an Elvis fan telling us that if we are going to be Elvis fans, we have to accept him with the flaws he had. Basically, we have to accept that he was a drug addict. No mention of why Elvis was addicted to prescribed medication. No mention of chronic illness, chronic sickness. Just, he liked drugs. They felt good. So he took lots of them. Now, I know we accept him as he was, but remember, we don't accept Elvis as he was. How can I say this? We know how Elvis was in 1977. 1976, 77, we know how he was. But we're not going to treat him like he was like that for his whole 40 years of existence. 42 years. Yes, Elvis in the last few years became very bloated and puffy-faced, bloated. His arms and legs still were quite slim, actually. But, so are we supposed to look at Elvis as if he was like that through his 20s and 30s? Is it fair to treat Elvis as if he was this guy that was very unwell for his whole life, through his whole career? It's so unfair. Let me keep going. I don't like to admit it, but we are going to be Elvis fans, then we need to accept Elvis as he was, flaws and all, and still love him. That is what I do. Being a fan of an image of Elvis is not being a true fan, because the man was not what his image portrays. I get his point. I mean, he's basically saying we idolize Elvis, so as if he has done nothing wrong, as if he had no faults. No, we don't. No, we don't. I have done so much research. So have we here. We know exactly the mistakes Elvis made, but we also know the mistakes that were done to Elvis. The mistakes that were done to Elvis. From Priscilla, from the Memphis Mafia, from other people. Now, we also know that Elvis was very sick, so he needed his medication. The man had faults. We accept them and love him anyway. The man had faults. We accept and love him anyway. But what are these faults? Okay. That he's saying here, the man had faults. What were the faults? Yeah, we know he could be unfaithful. Yeah, we know he probably abused his medication. Maybe he had a bit of a temper. What else? What else? I want to know all these big faults that Elvis had. Because I think Elvis had the opposite of faults. What is the word for opposite of faults? Why can't this man here list all the good stuff? Why can't Bobby give me a long list of all the good things Elvis did and then say, but he had a few faults? Because that's how I see Elvis. I see all the good that Elvis did. I see that Elvis, there are dozens and dozens of beautiful things that Elvis did for his friends, his family, for complete strangers, for his work people, for the Memphis Mafia, for Priscilla, for his girlfriend's parents, for his girlfriend's brothers and sisters, for his mum, for his dad. I could list you hundreds of things, good things that Elvis did. So why does this part have to say Elvis had faults? Why can't it say Elvis had perfections? Elvis had a beautiful way of living, a kind, loving Christian man who did so much good, a God-fearing man, a humble man who grew up in Tupelo, who at the end of his life became very unwell, sometimes was unfaithful, needed medication because he was sick. He was highly addicted to prescription drugs. This is Bobby, okay? He was highly addicted to prescription drugs. Well, possibly, but at the end of his life. Not for his whole life, at the end of his life. Now, did he take medications through his life? Yeah, of course he did. Who doesn't? Who doesn't take medication through their life? I have, definitely. Most of us here have. If I get something wrong with me, I go to my doctor, he gives me some pills. Now remember, this is an Elvis fan. He was highly addicted to prescription drugs. He was not a paedophile. Oh, Tony, you're too nice to me. Thank you. Anyone buys me a coffee, thank you so much. You know I love it. Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. Right, I've still got a while to go yet. Tony, thank you so much. You're very kind. Now let me keep going, guys. This is an Elvis fan. He was not a paedophile. He did not beat women. But he did have a terrible temper. But don't we all at different times? Well, I do. I know that Elvis had a temper. I think using the word terrible might be unfair. But yes, he had a temper. And yes, we all do have a temper, don't we? Was it a terrible temper? If Elvis had a terrible temper, what did he do that was so terrible? Seriously. If Elvis had a terrible temper, what did he do that was so terrible? Yeah, he probably had a short temper. Yeah, so what? Big deal. I defend Elvis and would always do so, but I won't lie and say he was squeaky clean. I won't lie and say he was a squeaky clean person. His image has portrayed. Well, I don't know where he gets that from, because we've never said Elvis was squeaky clean here, ever. We have never said Elvis was squeaky clean. Let's keep going, guys. Remember, this is on my channel. This is a comment on my video, our live stream. So it's aimed at us. Okay, guys? Elvis was, right, here we go, guys. But this is the important bit. Yeah, are you ready? Elvis was sick because of drugs. If he didn't take them, then he would have been healthy and his only problem would have been glaucoma. Does anyone believe that? I'm going to read it again because it's important to me that you tell me that you respond to this comment. Right, guys, this is very important. Elvis was sick because of drugs. If he didn't take them, then he would have been healthy and his only problem would have been glaucoma. Does anyone believe that? Does anyone believe that? Seriously, I'm going to repeat it again. Elvis was sick because of drugs. If he didn't take them, then he would have been healthy and his only problem would have been glaucoma. Does anyone believe that for a second? Come on, guys, we've done our research here. Come on, we know there's 2 books out that show that Elvis was chronically sick. You've got Sally Hoddle's book, Destined to Die Young, which proves that he had genetic illnesses from his grandparents who were first cousins, from his mum who had serious problems, especially with her liver, from his dad who had serious heart problems. We know that Elvis was born with very serious genetic problems, so he needed medication. So this person, a so-called Elvis fan, an Elvis fan who said he's the #1 Elvis fan, he starts off this message by saying, there is no bigger Elvis fan than me. He starts it off. Now let me keep going, guys. Elvis was sick because of drugs. If he didn't take them, he would have been healthy and his only problem would have been glaucoma. This is an Elvis fan that hasn't done his research, because anybody that has done a few hours research will know that Elvis was born sick. Elvis had medical problems when he was born. Guys, it gets worse. It gets worse. We got Dr. Forrest Tennant's book as well, haven't we? We know that Elvis was very unlucky. He was born not well. Elvis was facing chronic illnesses. He didn't know why. He didn't understand about that he'd inherited these illnesses. There's a long line of Smiths that died in their 40s because of problems. Elvis couldn't understand why he was getting so unwell, why he was so sick. He didn't understand why. And he was desperate, so he turned to his doctors, his nurses, his pharmacists to help him. So no, Bobby, you're wrong. if Elvis did not take his prescribed medication and that he would have only had glaucoma is bullshit. Because if he did that, he would have been seriously unwell in pain. Now remember, this is a man through the 60s, making 2 or 3 movies a year. And then in the 68 comeback, then you've got the 69 comeback at Vegas, who was sometimes doing 2 or 3 shows a day. A man who needed to be up to make his movies, up to perform in Vegas, up to perform in the 68 comeback special. A sick man. A man who'd inherited chronic medical problems. And he didn't know what to do. He was desperate. And the only thing he could turn to was his doctors, his prescribed pills. Lisa, thank you. Lisa, thank you for that comment. Right, let's keep going. Right, here we go. This is an Elvis fan, okay? Yeah, he was an adulterer, but you can't hate him for that, as every woman was throwing himself at her. I repeat, yeah, he was an adulterer, but you can't hate him for that, as every woman was throwing herself at him. This is again another big perception by some Elvis fans, people that call themselves real Elvis fans. Where's the mention of Priscilla? Why is there no mention of Priscilla's adultery? There's no mention of it. Again, we're blaming Elvis. Now, I'm not saying Elvis was faithful, but so was Priscilla. So was Priscilla. But the way that Priscilla was unfaithful was very extreme, because Priscilla was unfaithful 3 months after the baby was born. 3 months after the baby was born, 1 year after the marriage. So why was Elvis unfaithful? Think about it, guys. Elvis gets engaged in 66, December. May the 1st, they get married. Now, the research I've done, Elvis through the pregnancy was faithful. After the marriage was faithful. Then Priscilla, in around March, in 68, March, April, shags the dance instructor, Steve Peck. So then Elvis goes off and is unfaithful. I admit it. Elvis, after he caught Priscilla being unfaithful with, the little baby Lisa Marie, still in nappies, Priscilla is unfaithful. So after that, Elvis didn't want to sleep with Priscilla and he went off and he had affairs. One of them being Susan Henning, who had a baby. So this bullshit that Elvis wouldn't sleep with a woman that had a baby is a lie. Whoever made up the story that Elvis wouldn't sleep with a woman that had a child is a lie. Because after Elvis caught Priscilla being unfaithful, just months after Lisa Marie was born, he didn't want to sleep with her. Elvis didn't want to sleep with Priscilla because she had been unfaithful. Then yes, Elvis was the word he used. Then Elvis was an adulterer. I agree. Elvis, after he caught Priscilla being unfaithful with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, was unfaithful. No mention here. In Bobby, in your message, there is no mention of Priscilla's wrongdoing. Just Elvis's. Your hero. Your hero that you call yourself the biggest Elvis fan. You've told us that he was a drug addict. You've told us that he was an adulterer. You haven't mentioned that Elvis was sick. You haven't mentioned that Priscilla was unfaithful. You've just told us that Elvis was an adulterer. The next comment. Here we go. This is the bit, guys. A true fan. As a true fan, are we listening to this, guys? This is why I asked the question, why do you think you're a true fan? What is a true fan? What makes a fan a true fan? I gave you my answer. You gave me your answers. This man thinks he's a true fan. Now, this true fan, Bobby, yeah, seriously, guys, Bobby, the true fan, yeah, is now as a true Bobby, who has just called Elvis an adulterer, no mention of Priscilla's adultery, who has just called Elvis a druggie, no mention of his chronic sickness, is now calling himself a true fan. As a true fan, you have to accept his faults. So let's keep going. So Bobby, the true fan, who has just called Elvis a drug addict, with no mention of his need for prescribed medication because he was sick, who's just called Elvis an adulterer, with no mention of the fact that Priscilla was unfaithful to Elvis at least twice during the marriage, with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, with Mike Stone, the karate champion. He is calling Elvis the adulterer. Elvis the adulterer. Let's keep going, guys. Look, I know Elvis before 1966 had many girlfriends. I know it. But remember, Priscilla, when she first moved over to Graceland, Elvis was not a one-girl man. When Priscilla first moved, she was just under 18, around 63. When she first moved to Graceland, she was not his only girlfriend. He had other girlfriends, and it was well known. Elvis didn't become a faithful man until they got engaged in 1966. Up to 1966, Elvis was in his 20s. He lived as a single man. So some people might class that as being unfaithful. I don't. He wasn't engaged to her. He wasn't married to her. They had no children. He was a rock and roll star in his 20s. She chose to move over. No one forced Priscilla to move over. She chose to move over. Right, let me keep going, guys. As a true fan, you have to accept his faults. Otherwise, you're just a fan of the image and the press made up. Now, I'll tell you now, guys, I am not a fan of the image the press made up. Far from it. Far from it. I know Elvis's personality very, very well. I know the good and the bad side of Elvis. I know one thing I do know about Elvis is that the good that he did far outweighs the bad. The good that he did far outweighs the bad. The fact that he was very sick and needed prescribed medication doesn't make him a bad person. I do think sometimes when he was seeing other girls, it was a bit unfair. I accept that. When Elvis was seeing different girls, he would break hearts. I fully accept that. He broke Linda's heart, probably. He broke Anita Wood's heart. There was other girls as well. I accept that. So if I say to you now, tell me the wrongdoing that Elvis did. If I said, come on, tell me, here goes. Come on, guys. If I said to you, guys, tell me what Elvis did wrong, you're going to say he was unfaithful, and you're going to say he took prescribed medication. You're not going to think of anything else. There is nothing else. There is no proof of underage sex. No one has ever, with proof, proved that Elvis had underage sex with anyone ever, including Priscilla. Priscilla has always said there was no sex. She has always said it. There has never been any proof of any underage sex, ever. Right, let's keep going, guys. As a true fan, you have to accept his faults. Otherwise, you're just a fan of the image that the press made up. I am a fan of the man, Elvis Presley. And I am disappointed in some things he did, for sure. He made some bad decisions. and did some bad things. What bad things? I want to know the bad things he did. Bobby, you've just said he did bad things. What bad things? Yeah, he was unfaithful. I accept that. Yeah, he took prescribed medication. What else? Because I'll give you a very long list of good things he did. I'll give you a very long list of charities he helped, people he helped. I'll give you a long list of the fact that he literally spent his life giving away his fortune. He was a very decent Christian man, a gospel singing man who went everywhere with the Bible, who every night before he went to sleep would get down on his knees and pray. A man who would help perfect strangers. A man who would pay people's medical expenses that he didn't even know. A man who would pay people's funeral expenses that he didn't even know. A man who would look in the paper, in the tabloids, look for people to help. A man who stopped a tramp when he was driving past a homeless man. He reached out and gave that homeless man $5,000. A man who bought all his friends cars, motorbikes, homes. A man that every Christmas would give to 100 charities. I will list you many, many things that Elvis did good. Now you've just said to me, I am disappointed in some of the things he did. He made some bad decisions and did some bad things. I can only think of two. Can anyone here think of more than two things that Elvis did wrong? Unfaithful, took prescribed medication. Anything else? I can't think of any. I cannot think of any. Please put it in the comments. What's that? I spoke to El Strada one year. He told me towards the end, Elvis was bored and financially struggling. His tours kept him going. Okay? There's no wrong, that comment, there's no wrongdoing, is there? Elvis got bored. Who doesn't get bored? Come on. If you're doing the same concerts 2-3 times a day, you're going to get bored. There's nothing wrong with being bored. It's okay. Right. Let's keep going. I want to carry on. It's not that much longer, guys. He made some bad decisions. He did some bad things. I've just given you a very long list of good things he did, which is not mentioned. There is no mention here of good things. This comment mentions the bad things, the drugs, the women. No mention of good things. Mentions the unfaithfulness. No mention of Priscilla's unfaithfulness. He made some bad decisions and did some bad things, but that won't change my adoration for him. But you just can't go around saying Elvis did not take drugs. Now, no one has said he didn't take prescribed medication. You want to use the word drugs, okay. No one has said that. Because he did take them, and he took them to the extent that it killed him. There we are. This is an Elvis fan who's, the beginning of this comment is, there's no bigger fan than me. So again, he's insulting Elvis. I say it again, the comment he said. Now, we don't really know the cause of Elvis's death. I'm sure it was a mixture of many things. I'm sure it was a mixture of health problems and overprescription. Now, this is an Elvis fan. Don't forget, Elvis inherited some serious chronic pain, illnesses, where he needed medication just for the pain, just to sleep, just to wake up, just for energy, just to relax. And for all the other problems, the twisted colon, the megacolon, the enlarged heart, the breathing difficulties. Elvis couldn't breathe properly. Here we go, guys. He just got round to saying Elvis did not take drugs. He did take them. And he took them to the extent that it killed him. So this Elvis fan who proclaims himself as the biggest Elvis fan, a true Elvis fan, it says it here, guys, as a true fan, this is a true fan writing this comment. Elvis killed himself. As a true fan, Elvis killed himself. Elvis didn't overdose and start injecting himself to kill himself. Elvis was a very sick man. That night, the night he died, was very complicated. Very complicated. He was definitely heavily medicated. He'd had the trip to the dentist. There's many reasons why Elvis died young. And being overprescribed, it definitely played a part in it, 100%. I'm not a doctor. Minus the drugs, or the amount of drugs he took, he would have lived a ripe old age. Well, I don't think any of us are medically trained well enough to know how old Elvis would have lived to. Because if Elvis had inherited all these very serious chronic medical conditions which have been proved, there's 2 books, Destined to Die Young, Sally Hoddle, Dr. Forrest Tennant's book. Elvis definitely had inherited some very, very horrible medical problems, especially with his colon and many other things. Remember, his dad died from a heart attack. His mum died from liver complications, yeah? Elvis was a sick man. No one knows how long he would have lived for. No one knows. No one knows if the prescribed medication shortened his life or extended his life. We don't really know. So in the last 2 years of his life, he was taking 27 to 30 pills per day. Well, we don't know that, but yeah, he may have been, because he was seriously sick. He was unbearably sick. He was so desperately unwell. He had no idea who to turn to. His doctors were trying to help him. His nurses were trying to help him. The he would use the pharmacist as well. He wanted to soothe his pain. He wanted to ease his pain. He wanted to fix his body. He wanted to get better. He didn't know how to. By the last 2 years, it was all out of control. There was no saving Elvis. The Memphis Mafia, Red West, Sonny West, Dave Hebler were not going to save him by writing this book. 1977, 2 weeks before he died, this book was released. They were not going to save him by writing the book, but they say they were. They say they were. Dave Hebler's excuse. We thought we could help him because no one else was. This is Dave Hebler's words. We thought we could help him because no one else was. How do you save a man from himself? Dave Hebler's words. They wrote that book for money and no other reason. Money and revenge and greed. It had nothing to do with helping him. Nothing. So 27 to 30 pills a day and a shot to get him up in the morning and sometimes a shot to put him to sleep. So that's quite a graphic way of describing it. But yeah, right at the end, Elvis was unbelievably sick. Unbelievably sick. At the end, not for his whole life, not through his 20s, not through his 30s, at the end, age 40, age 41, age 42. How is it fair to talk about Elvis as if he was as sick at the end through his whole life? Why is it fair that the world see Elvis, how he looked in the last year of his life? How is that fair? This man who almost all of his life was slim and handsome and tanned and healthy looking almost all of his life. You look at Elvis in the 68 comeback, how well he looks. You look at Elvis in the Vegas comeback, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73. He looks very well. So why is it fair that a man who died in 1977 is treated as if that's how he looked for the whole of his life? Why does the public image of Elvis, hi Salvatore, why does the public image of Elvis is frozen in time in 1977? This is a true fan. He is this so-called true fan who called himself Elvis, no bigger fan than him, has spent this whole comment, quite a long comment, insulting Elvis. This whole comment insults Elvis. And this is a true fan. And this is our dilemma here at Defending Elvis. That we are attacked by Elvis fans. Not all Elvis fans. I'm talking about the minority. There is a small amount of Elvis fans, very small. The majority of Elvis fans are lovely. But there's a small amount of Elvis fans that see Elvis how he looked in 1977. A small amount. And that is why we can lose 10 subscribers on a day when we had a fantastic day of defending. He also had to have shots to be able to go on stage and perform his show in the last 2 years. Yes, the last 2 years he was seriously unwell. The way that the Colonel Tom Parker demanded that he carried on performing 2-3 shows a day right to his last breath was cruel. The truth is, with that amount of drugs he was taking, we should not ask why he died so young. We should thank God that we had him as long as we did. God, really. I'll say that bit again. This is an Elvis fan. The truth is, with that amount of drugs he was taking, we should not ask why he died so young, but we should say, thank God we had him as long as we did. Disgusting. See, I think, like Andrew just mentioned about Elvis having an amazing voice. Of course. Amazing voice. He looked amazing for most of his life. Elvis didn't look unwell until his 40s. I don't think. You could see signs of things going wrong around 39, 40, a little bit. But it wasn't really till he was 40 he looked unwell, I think. Yeah? But this is my point. I don't just see Elvis the singer, Elvis the good-looking man. You know, the movies. I don't just see that. I see the good that Elvis did through his whole life. This is why I love this book. This book shows the real Elvis. The Faith of Elvis, Billy Stanley's book. It really, really does show the great man that Elvis was. It doesn't show the last 2 years of his life. Does it? Oh, it doesn't need to. The real man, the true man, the boy from Tupelo, Mississippi, Tupelo, in the mid-50s, before that, in the early 50s, in the late 40s, a lovely boy who had a voice like an angel, who treated everyone with kindness, and as soon as he had money, helped everyone that he could. Elvis, as soon as he had money, helped everyone that he could until the day he died. I don't see his voice. I see a beautiful man. And when I say beautiful, I don't mean looks. A beautiful soul. a beautiful heart, a golden heart. From boyhood to the day he died. Yeah, he had a great voice. We love his voice. His voice is as good as it gets. His personality, his charm is as good as it gets. But I still don't see, that's not how I see Elvis. I see Elvis, the man with a heart of gold. That's what I see. I won't judge Elvis on the last 2 years of his life. I won't summarize Elvis by his drug addiction, by the fact that he may have been unfaithful. I don't summarize Elvis like that. I summarize Elvis on how good a man he was. That's how I judge Elvis. How good a man was Elvis? How much good did Elvis do through his life? Through his 20s, the minute he had money, how much good did Elvis do when he had money? He did as much good as he could possibly do. He couldn't give away his money fast enough. He couldn't help people fast enough. He went out of his way to help as many people as he could every day of his life, right to the last day that he lived. So to judge Elvis on the last 2 years of his life is so unfair and cruel, and that is what is wrong with this ridiculous message, this ridiculous comment. And then he ends it, I am sorry about what Elvis did to himself, but not admitting it is wrong. I am sorry about what Elvis did to himself, but not admitting it is wrong. What a joke. Bobby, your comment is an absolute disgrace to your idol. And I don't mean idol like pop star. I mean, you have completely, Bobby, this is for you. You have completely ignored all the good Elvis did through his whole life, through every day of his life. And that is the mistake of this book. The mistake of this book, there's lots of good parts of this book. There's lots of things in this book that are very nice. But this book is judged on the drugs, the temper, how he reacted after after he found out about Mike Stone. This book was cruel, not because it's full of cruel words, but the parts of this book that are remembered are the negative, exaggerated lies, some truths that were said about Elvis. That's it. That is my point, guys. A true fan, what is a true fan? Not that. Not that. Somebody who literally has posted a very long message slating Elvis all the way through it, never bringing up the wrongdoing of other people. Not one mention of any wrongdoing in this comment of anyone else. Everything was Elvis's fault. The adultery, the drugs. No mention of Elvis being sick. No mention of all the good that Elvis did. How much he did for charity, for complete strangers. How many people he helped through his whole life. Elvis always put himself last. No mention of how good he was to his fans. No mention of it. How kind Elvis was to his fans. No mention of it. That is a so-called true fan. He starts off the message by saying, there is no bigger fan than me. There is no bigger fan than me. So guys, do you think Bobby is a true fan? Because he does. Leave it in the comments, guys. Do you think Bobby is a true fan? Let's just go through some of your comments and I'm going to belly buys. So the point I'm trying to say, guys, that when we defend Elvis, we don't just defend Elvis against the wrongdoing and the lies. Because obviously there's a lot of wrongdoing, there's a lot of lies. Priscilla made loads of mistakes. The Memphis Mafia made loads of mistakes. Yeah? We have to defend Elvis from the people that call themselves true fans that blame everything on Elvis. Everything. The adultery, the drugs, it's all blamed on Elvis. No mention of the good that he did. No mention of Priscilla's behavior. No mention of the Memphis Mafia's behavior. And these people call themselves true fans. Now, a true fan will take the time to do their research and understand that the story of Elvis's health is much, much more complicated. A true fan will take the time to understand why Elvis eventually became unfaithful after the marriage, after the birth of Lisa Marie. A true fan will understand the circumstances of when Priscilla first moved to Graceland. Priscilla was not Elvis's girlfriend when she first moved to Graceland. She was one of many. It's much more complicated, guys. It's too easy to blame everything on Elvis. It's too easy to blame everything on Elvis. To paint Elvis as the bad guy. To judge Elvis as he was judged on the last 2 years of his life. It's too easy to do that. This book gives you an idea of the real Elvis. A bit. Some of it. Lisa's book, From Here to the Great Unknown. The Faith of Elvis from Billy Stanley gives you an idea of the real Elvis. Believe it or not, there actually are some chapters in this book that show the real Elvis. It's a shame they ruined it with the negative stuff. So, okay guys, let's look at some of your comments. So, now you understand why I asked you the question, what is a true fan? Are you a true fan? Because unfortunately, some of these so-called true fans are slating Elvis. There's a lot of comments here, guys. Right, then we'll try and whiz through some, yeah? Okay, let me just see. Yeah, Elvis was born sick. He definitely was. So Lisa mentions the book Destined to Die Young. Yeah. I personally don't think Elvis was destined to die young. I think he was destined to be unwell. He was destined to be very sick because he'd inherited some very serious problems from his grandparents, his mum and his dad. But did I think Elvis was definitely going to die at 42? No way. Dan says the guy, Bobby, is clueless about his facts. He's very one-sided. He blames everything on Elvis and doesn't say anything that supports Elvis. Nothing. A so-called true fan. I have people in my family, but I've suffered from bipolar. I have done research on it. I do believe Elvis may have been suffering from that as well. I'm not trying to upset anybody. I've never thought that for a second. I do know what bipolar is. I've got a family member that has bipolar. I've never thought that about Elvis, ever. Right, let's have a look. I think Priscilla initially let everyone think Elvis cheated on her first, and when she realised, oh shoot, with Steve Peck, I'm a bit unsure about that, Lisa. But before Elvis got engaged, 100% he had other girlfriends. 100%. After they got engaged, he was a loyal man. He wanted to be a good father. Emily, we know you are. Let's have a look. Come on, you're going to get addicted to your pills. Everyone does. I know a few people that get prescribed medication and they're hooked on them, but they need them. They've become reliant on them. It doesn't make them a bad person. Look, the bipolar thing keeps getting brought up. It's horrific. Bipolar is, I could tell you some stories, guys, about a family member I have that's got bipolar. It's horrible, but Elvis didn't have bipolar, in my opinion. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, I think you're sort of saying that there was a lot of jealousy from Priscilla towards Elvis. I really believe that. I believe Priscilla wanted to be Elvis. Priscilla wanted to be Elvis. Let's have a look. Sorry, there's a lot of comments, guys. I'm trying to rush through them. I'm just trying to pick the ones that are relating to what we're talking about. Do you know what? Guys, you will be surprised how many people agree with Bobby. You will be surprised how many Elvis fans agree with Bobby. That everything that went wrong in his life was Elvis's fault. And that Elvis was the unfaithful one. You'll be surprised. 100% Priscilla fans will always blame Elvis for everything. Priscilla fans won't see the good in Elvis. They won't see Elvis how we do. Yeah? We see the good in Elvis because we've done our research. Priscilla fans are just, have idolized Priscilla. They've fallen in love with an icon. They've fallen in love with a fake fairy tale of the book Elvis and Me. This is a fake fairy tale. That's what it is. It's a fake fairy tale. And the Priscilla fans have fallen in love with it. It's bullshit. Most of that book is bullshit. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Look, I'm 100%. I'm not making Elvis out to be an angel. Yeah, I know that things went pear-shaped with the prescribed medication. I do believe Elvis was abusing the medication, but this is the last 2 years of his life. I'm not going to judge his whole life on that. I do think Elvis was unfaithful sometimes, but so was Priscilla. So it's not fair to just blame Elvis. Very unfair. And I think Priscilla did it at the worst time, just after Lisa Marie was born. It was very cruel. Also, when Priscilla was secretly seeing Mike Stone for a year, it was very cruel. Yeah, I think Luann is saying it, that there's a big difference between street drugs and prescription drugs. Did Elvis Presley just take drugs to get wrecked, to get off his face, to get stoned? I don't think so. I think through the late part of his 30s, he was just trying to get better, trying to fix his body, trying to sort out his medical problems. I do think by the time he gets into his 40s, No one really knows how to help Elvis. Things are out of control. I do think that. I think the doctors didn't really know what to do because there was so much wrong with him, with his health. There was so much wrong with Elvis. No one knew what to do, including Elvis. But you can't judge Elvis on his last 2 years of his life. That's not fair. So, I'm not going to blame it all just on the doctors. There is a responsibility from quite a few people that were around Elvis, and Elvis, of course, was part of the responsibility of doing things right. The whole thing became a mess. The whole thing became a mess. No one knew what to do. But in the last 2 years, what about the other 40 years? Why is Elvis judged on the last 2 years of his life? Not fair. Yeah, Tanya, yeah, he was born sick, but he got slowly sicker as he got older, very gradually. So I'm just trying to read all the messages, guys. Yeah, Tony says it. Inner beauty. Inner beauty. Bobby says Elvis was a great fan, and yet he sent Louis a message. Do you know what? If Bobby's message had been a bit fairer, had brought up Elvis's sickness, had brought up Priscilla's unfaithfulness, had brought up the wrongdoing of the Memphis Mafia, had brought up the fact that Elvis was desperate, I probably would have been a bit kinder about it. But no, that whole comment was anti-Elvis, anti-Elvis. Everything was Elvis's fault. That is why I don't like the comment. It was too one-sided. Very unfair to Elvis. Very, very unfair. He didn't deserve that comment from a so-called true fan who starts the whole comment off by saying, I'm the biggest fan ever. Salvatore, I am tired, trust me. I'm knackered. But I had to respond to that comment. It was too upsetting. Now, we are going to be true fans. We are going to be true fans here. Because every day we wake up, Team Elvis. Every day we wake up and we defend Elvis and Lisa and the bloodline. Every day. You're not going to see me giving you long lists of Elvis's faults. I'm not going to do it. I'll give you a long list of Elvis's good points all day long. Anyway, guys, I think that's it. I think I've made my point that we want Elvis to be treated fairly. We accept Elvis was no angel. He made mistakes. We know this. We know this. But what about all the good? And I'm not talking about the singing and the movies and his personality and the fact he was beautiful and sexy. I'm talking about here, the good from his heart. What about the good he did? Through all of his life to the day he died. We should be talking about that. We shouldn't just keep bringing up drugs, girls. Yeah? Drugs and girls. Elvis was much more than that. Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to go because I'm knackered. I'm literally going to fall asleep. Thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this. A very serious live stream, unfortunately. But it's time to go, guys. We defend Elvis. Elvis, Lisa Marie, and the Bloodline. Team Elvis. We rock. Team Elvis rock. But it is time to go to bed. Yeah, that's right, Linda. Thanks, everyone. Gotta go. Too tired. Bedtime. I'll be back in the morning with lots of energy. I've been up since 5 a.m. I reckon I've been up for about 28 hours. Thanks, Blessed. All of you, thank you for joining us. You guys are true Elvis fans. You guys are true Elvis fans. All of you, every one of you. Okay, guys, love you all. You're the best. Sweet dreams. I'll see you in the morning. Take care of them. Bye, Salvatore, and all the rest of the gang. Bye, Tony, and everyone else. Bye, Kate. I didn't know you were here, Kate. All of you, I send you